Around. Thank you guys for joining us today, and thank you, Victor, for bringing us into your studio, your creative space. We appreciate you guys joining us too. We're going to give it just a few minutes for folks to sign on.
Sounds good.
We're going to dig right in. It is so for those who look back at the Tuesday at 7 catalog. The Tuesday at 7, we're just a Facebook group. We're a bunch of artists that gather together digitally, virtually, once a week on Tuesdays, as you guess, at 7 p.m. And we support our community. We point, towards unique artwork. We promote the artists, the galleries, the shows, and we appreciate you guys being part of that as well. You don't have to be part of the Tuesday 7 community. You can just watch it anytime. But if you're interested, look at TUES at 7. And if you want to join that, you're going to see a lot of options to be involved and do many things.
Yeah.
And you've been
supporting
for such a long time.
Right. And if you miss it, you can always watch it the next day or whenever. Yeah. Because you archive it, right? So
yeah. Facebook has been doing a funny thing here, and that is over the years, if you watch the 5, 6, 7 years ago, you saw that we went landscape. They forced us portrait, which kind of crunches us down a little bit. So it forces us to look at the things a little differently. But for those who want to go back to the archives, if you go to YouTube and look up TUES at 7, you can see all those back episodes where we go landscape as opposed to portrait. But thank you for supporting the community for such a long time, and
thank you for supporting the artists in the Cleveland area, man. It's wonderful. Yeah.
One of the things that I love, and this is the first time that I think I've ever delivered a winning while we were interviewing. So a couple of weeks ago, we pulled your name because you share all the time, and you've won a couple times.
This will be the second time,
Second time. But you won the giveaway for Kira and Tessa. So let me give this to you. Yeah.
Excellent. And Tessa's actually a friend of mine, so this is awesome. All right.
So you've got the artwork from both Kira and from Tessa, and we so appreciate your shares. But if you've never watched a Tuesday at 7 episode before, there is a share button in the very bottom left-hand side of your screen. It's an arrow. When you press that arrow, you have an opportunity to share, and Facebook will prompt you. You can share to your friends group. You can share to another group. You could share it to an individual. But when you share it, we know it, and we put your name in a hat, and you give an opportunity to win the artist's work that following Tuesday at 7. But if you were with us last week, we were down at Negative Space, and we were with the Jimmy Committee. And for everybody who shared that episode, your name is in this hat. And so Victor gets to choose the winner of the Jimmy Committee artwork.
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse Ray Knoll. It's my very, very chicken scratch writing, but Jesse, thank you so much for sharing, and we'll get in touch with you. And Jimmy has the artwork down there for you to choose. But if you're not here in Northeast Ohio, we'll find a way to get it to you as well. So thank you so much. Now, I'm going to come back around the camera in just a moment. And I'm going to kind of do a first-person interview. So you're not going to see my face anymore. You're going to see a bunch of artwork, and you're going to also see Victor's work. Victor, what's the correct pronunciation of your last name?
My last name is pronunciated Melaragno.
Melaragno,
yes.
Yeah. And we appreciate you guys joining us. We encourage you to share away. You know what? If somebody shares,
they get this.
What's the drawing?
Right here.
Yeah. I'm gonna come around, and I'm gonna come up and get a closer look at that. A framed work. Now, the title of our interview is SoonMoon.
SoonMoon creator.
Yeah, tell us about that.
If you turn around and zoom in on the rat fink there. Okay, that was created by a guy named Ed Big Daddy Roth. And so as a kid, I saw these cartoons that he came up with, and I just, I loved them, so,
Yeah.
and then, as a kid, when you're supposed to be paying attention in school and all that and everything, all my notes pretty much had weird drawings like this on the side of them. I've kept every single bit of them. I've kept. I got all the notes, and a lot of that stuff I refer back to, and I come up with a idea or one of my SoonMoon characters that is sort of like in the style of Ed Ross, but not quite.
Yeah.
And that's how I basically come up with them. I mean, a lot of times, I'm a big, huge coffee shop guy, and all the coffee shops in Lakewood.
Yeah.
The Root Cafe was probably that's one of my favorite, because that's the first show I ever had was at the Root, and it's an awesome coffee shop. They're always promoting artists, and so that's my first show, and I mean, it just from that show, it just it's like a stair step or something. It just put me where I just had to do it all the time, and it's I don't know how to describe it even. It's just something that I've always desired it, and I never even thought about actually doing shows.
Yeah,
I gotta go back on this whole thing, because I'm getting lost in my tracks here. But everything started from high school.
Yeah. In
high school, I went to parochial school, and they didn't have art or anything like that. So I get into junior high school, and I met some artists there. And then when I got to high school, I met these I got involved with vocational commercial art, 5 periods a day, 2 years in a row. And I got involved with this group of artists. Erica Wanamaker, Mark Clements, James Gregory Krause, Kevin Hogan, and these guys. I mean, these guys were like top-notch artists back then, and I didn't know anything about like surrealism or Dadaism or any of the other types of art. I just, I basically Italian Renaissance. I mean, because it's everybody kind of knows that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then I started, they got me involved with looking at like Hieronymus Bosch, which is, the Renaissance back in the Netherlands and stuff like that. And these are like real bizarre, I mean, almost surrealistic paintings that were basically, they weren't really surrealistic because they were like religious paintings. Yeah. And all their symbolism were these like very strange creatures and stuff that, depicted different sins and so on and so forth. But,
if you're thinking about that, like those were meaningful images to you back in the day.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, surrealism was just so different, and everything like that. And me not knowing anything about any of this stuff, and then, becoming friends with these people, it just, it elevated me big time, as far as wanting to be an artist and doing art. Yeah. And then like, we all went our separate ways, like that. And then like, it was about 22 years ago or so, it was my 30-year high school reunion. And I get a letter from my friend Erica and Mark saying they want to do a reunion show, art show, not a reunion with the high school, but just an art show. And we were trying to set it up at Spaces. It never ended up happening, but I reconnected with them. Mm. And Erica's, she is just this most magnificent artist I know. And she just recently had a show that I went to in Santa Fe it took her 7 years to make it, and it was magnificent. But she saw my SoonMoons that I were doing, and so she had like a guest curator at a gallery there called Off-Road Productions. Yeah, and she invited me to be in it, and this is several years ago. And I said, oh yeah, definitely. And I made 2 pieces for that. And my friend Mark Clemens, also friends with her from my class, she asked him to be in it too. So he calls me up. He says, you know what, I'm going to go to the opening. I said, well, I'm going to go too. So we went, we surprised her and everything like that. It was fabulous. But I mean, if it wasn't for those people and reconnecting with them, I'd still be just doing the stuff in my basement, not showing it at galleries or anything like that. It's just,
I think it's such an important thing, right? To have those foundational, like that
Right.
group, right? When we begin, or somewhere along the line, and then some type of spark or something that takes us outside of our creative space, with courage to show work either together
Right.
or on your own. Now, your work is been shown quite a bit, right?
Yes. I've actually done, like at Negative Space, I've had 3 solo shows there.
Oh,
And actually my very first solo show, and we were talking about galleries,
yeah.
and how I respect galleries and gallery owners and stuff like that, because it's rough, because I've seen so many of them come and go. And my very first solo show was a place called Canopy Collective. Erica Durham owned the place, and I knew her from the roots. She used to be a barista there. Very, very sweet girl. And so I went to her and asked her if I could do a show there, and she said definitely. So that was my very first solo show.
Yeah.
And then Gotti. The funny thing is that where is this?
Yeah. Point me. We'll go there.
They used to have a thing called the Tall Wall.
Okay.
In Cleveland, it was the Cleveland West Side Art League or something like that. And if you were a member of it, 2 times a year they would find a I'm and you could put 2 pieces in it. Anybody that was a member, so you got to meet the gallery owners, other artists and stuff like that. I'm hugely inspired by other artists. I love to see what other people do. So getting involved with this and doing shows like gallery, especially these juried shows, because there's so many different types of pieces and so many different artists. It's wonderful because you get to talk to these people and see that, how they do what they do. But this West Side Art League, that's how I met Gotti.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I met. How I found out Erica had her, because they both sponsored a couple of the events there, And when Gotti's that guy's he's amazing. The guy's always thinking of something and how to put somebody's art in his studio. And so everybody had their 2 pieces up there, and he was walking around looking at them, and he goes, "Wow, you did those?" He goes, "I really like those." And I go, "Wait a minute." No, right. He says, "Do you have a brother named Tom?" I go, "Yeah, I got a brother named Tommy. Yeah, Tommy Melaragno." He goes, Is he in a reggae band?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, I got an idea here. I want you to do a show with your brother, and I want because my brother 2 weeks ago, before I saw him, they had a reggae fest there, and his band played there. Because I want his band to open for your show." And I said, "Okay, that sounds great."
Put it together.
So I did. He says, "Do some of your pieces with the reggae theme to them."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, okay." And if you turn around here, this is one that I did with a reggae theme here. My brother actually owns this. I borrowed it back to do a show for Stella's. That was a music show.
Oh yeah.
But this is Quisp. He's a guy from a cereal. This is my SoonMoon guy. This is Saturn, and this Saturn's the reggae colors.
Yeah.
And then he's got Bob Marley on his shirt. So
thank you, Emma. Your moderation here is so appreciated. She's providing some great. So this piece.
Yeah.
This piece was like, how long have you been doing the SoonMoon art? Like, was this the beginning? Was this?
Oh, the beginning goes back to this right here. These are all drawn. I'll show you the big one.
Yeah.
This one.
Go ahead, move that hat to the side if that's in the way.
No, it's okay. This is like my first creation of the SoonMoons that I've ever done. Which is that's a print of this. And what I started doing was all the caricatures that I was drawing on my notes, like in college, high school, whatever. I started putting them together, and just, I put one here, one there, one there, one, so one could be from high school, one could be from college, one could be from like a letter that I did for my wife.
Yeah.
Because I save them all, Yeah. So, and I just put them in a collage like that. And so that's the very first one. And then once I got into the sign business, that's what I did for a living. I started going, man, I can cut these things out because we used to do everything by hand. So I used to cut letters out by hand and everything on the bandsaw. So I started monkeying around and cutting them out, multi-layering them and stuff like that. And
so you already had the characters in mind. You had created them 2-dimensional,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden you started going 3D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then adding all kinds of additional things into it.
Oh yeah, I cut being in the sign business. I put neon on some of them.
So do you have a neon hookup, or is neon your work?
No, I being a pattern maker, I used to have to make all the layouts for the neon for the signs full size, and trace them and send them down to the neon bender to bend the stuff up. Well, I have a friend that's a bender. His name is Doug, and he owns Novacar Neon, and he made that for me. He's done other neon work for me. I made it for a friend of mine. I made a Superman logo for him.
Yeah,
and he did that for me. This one here, I actually had my friend at work make this one for me, but we don't.
So while you're turning on that,
he has passed away since, which is kind of sad, but
he
was a really good bender.
Yeah. Tommy is on here. Emma's on here. Gotti says big fan of your work, and he loves snakes.
There you go. Gotti bought one of my snake drawings off of me.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is something when a guy like Gotti buys your work, right?
Yeah.
So this piece was also neon,
and that was for one of Mary Urbis's show.
Mary Urbis, we had her on a couple weeks ago.
You sure did. It was one of her skull shows, and I'm right now. I got my old drawings out because I'm working on her new skull show coming up in October.
Would this be giving away if we get some early peaks? I don't want to give it away.
This is the old stuff.
This is the old stuff. Okay,
I'm getting my mind ready to figure out what I'm going to do next.
So you actually do you do some pretty extensive drawings.
Yeah. I have to work it out before.
I guess that's your sign maker.
Yeah, exactly. So this drawing right here.
Oh, okay.
Became this
drawing. Finish work. And so tell me what the medium is.
This is called MDO plywood.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it's actually specifically made for the sign business because I've seen it used other places, but it's a laminated plywood and it's got a veneer on the first surface of it, so it's real smooth and real easy to paint on. The thinner pieces it's a aluminum composite. It's actually real thin pieces of aluminum on either side with rubber in between it. And then this is PVC, piece of PVC, and this is PVC.
Pretty lightweight.
Yeah.
It looks like, right?
It's not real heavy. Yeah.
We're in your home studio.
Yes,
which is
my home studio.
Home studio.
Yeah. I have a
saw in the garage. Okay.
It's a scroll saw, table scroll saw with a pretty wide throat on it, so I can, maneuver the stuff around. I can't get real big with it, But I mean, this is one that was just in a show that, again, Mary Urbis was the judge at for Bay Arts. It was a juried show.
So much detail.
And this one here this is my SoonMoon. And this guy's name is Phineas J. Whoopi, and he was from a cartoon called Tennessee Tuxedo and Friends.
Yeah.
And he was the man that knows it all. And when Tennessee Tuxedo and them would get in trouble, he would always help them out, get them out of trouble. And then you got Quist from the Serial again, and Marvin Martian, and the Great Gadzoo. That was
the Great Gadzoo. Yeah, I mean, we all grew up to these characters.
So, and the titles like the SoonMoon meet up with Phineas J. Whoopi, who says or declares that they do exist, meaning aliens.
Yeah.
So.
Was there were there a few artists that were doing similar work that kind of inspired you to go this direction, or was this a complete detour and you just kept going?
It's basically me taking my knowledge from the sign business and putting it into my artwork.
Yeah. So you bet your artwork includes bending and neon and lights.
Well, I don't actually do the neon bending. Again.
Right.
I have somebody that does it, but I know how to make the patterns to give to a neon bender to have it, made properly.
Yeah. Have you added other things into your SoonMoon art?
LEDs. This one's got LEDs.
Okay.
See, I can light that one up somehow.
Yep.
Where is that? LEDs are pretty much taken over the source of neon lighting anymore in the sign industry. Wait a minute. Something's not right. I got too much stuff going on here.
By the way, your space here is so inviting. I would imagine that stepping in here just kind of kicks off the whole creative thinking. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna, as you're getting those on, I'm gonna kind of just move through here. Now, what I want to do is encourage folks to go ahead and share. In the very bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's an arrow. When you share, we know it. And then our next Tuesday at 7, we're going to draw a name. And if your name is drawn, you'll get this signed print, this framed print. And
I cannot get this.
And this is a smaller piece that's smaller than this original SoonMoon illustration.
Yeah, it's a print of it. Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? I should have.
I can't get that one to work for some reason. But it has LED lighting that goes across the top and shines down on it. I don't know why it's not working.
Tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us the process, right? And so let's just use maybe this this piece over here, from the skull show, right?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I go through like a lot of my drawings that I've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I come up with one that you know what? Here's an example right here. This is probably the best example. Okay. So I have this is my final drawing. Okay. And the pieces on the wall over there. We'll show.
We'll go show that finished product here.
So this all came about. I sift through my little drawings, and this is a drawing I did just either at a coffee shop or just doodling,
Yeah.
And so that became this guy here, okay. And then I go, I'm gonna have him with a turtle. I want to have him with a turtle, like a SoonMoon turtle, with some big bug eyes or something like that. And this was an illustration I did for a newsletter for a club that I used to belong to called NOAA, Northern Ohio Association of Herpetology.
Yeah.
And so this is a turtle that's a common turtle that you find around here. It's a musk turtle. Mm-hmm. Stink pot, it's called. So I figured I got to make it look like one of our turtles, but with bug eyes, So that's what I came up for the turtle.
Evolved to your turtle.
Yeah. And then I go, they got to be walking on the moon. So, I draw the moon up. So I got the turtle drawn up separately, the moon drawn up separately, and then I put it all together on, make sure that's how I want it exactly.
Yeah.
And then once I'm satisfied with it, then I start cutting the stuff out on the saw and painting it.
So you're spending hours
Yeah.
of layout, composition,
Exactly.
the right look, where it lays.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then, before you even start your project, you've already planned and spent hours creating your final piece.
Yes. Yes.
I see some different colors. Were those colors of any relevance? Is that just to keep them separate?
Yeah, that's just so I remember the layers.
Gotcha.
So if you come over here,
Yeah.
so you see he's one layer. It's about a 1/2 inch thick. This is about an 1/8 inch thick, and it's in front of him, but pegged off at a moon, and then the moon's a separate piece.
Yeah.
So all these are created sort of that way. There's multi-layered, and you got to figure out, how to do what and this and that. So you got to do it on paper. Like this here's the back side of this piece of wood here is routed out to fit this thinner material, so that it comes out flush with the back of it.
Yeah.
Lori
states, she says she's happy to share with her son. I just got a pop up here with her son Michael, who is in college, graphic design major, and he'll love this.
Excellent. Yeah. Cool. Here's another one for that show with Gotti with the reggae theme.
Oh.
And that's Desmond Decker. Supposedly, I don't know how true this is, but supposedly in the 60s, that was like one of the first reggae songs to make the top 40.
Yeah.
And it's called The Israelites. So, so there you go.
So I'm going to ask a question, but I think I already know the answer. But I'm going to ask a question. This is always a controversial question, and that is, you can only choose one: Addams Family or Munsters.
Oh my gosh!
You can only choose one.
I'm going to say the Munsters.
Yeah, I figured, because I would choose the Munsters too. But that is a controversial question.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough one. I'm actually thinking of doing an
Addams Family.
Yeah. A lot of, as you can see, a lot of my stuff's nostalgia too.
Yeah.
Stuff from when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like the record here, the Munsters here, Ed Roth. My daughters and me love Tim Burton, so that's got zero
on the T-shirt.
And this one here, not too many people understand this one here, but if you drive down the highway,
okay,
you see that sign all the time right there, the MH.
Yeah.
And it's, hazardous material. No hazardous
Not Herman Munster, right?
But I always kid my kids from when they're little, look, no Herman Munster. Then that gets you mad. No Herman Munster. I can't believe it. And that's how I came up with that.
Share with us, and we're gonna get off the highway just for a moment here, because you had showed some illustration regarding some turtles, and we're leaning over some turtles.
Oh yes,
a big shout out to the turtles,
yeah.
and that's and Emma is reminding us that there's some other great stuff going on here.
Yeah. I belonged to a reptile club for many years. Mm-hmm. It was called NOAA, the Northern Ohio Association of Herpetology, and I was actually vice president of the club at one time and advisor. And I'm not going to say I'm an expert at reptiles. I'm not whatsoever. But Ohio reptiles, I know pretty well.
Yeah.
Because I live in Ohio. I've grown up with them. I know them pretty well. You take me out of my element, it's, But these are all pretty much rescue turtles from like people that didn't know what to do with them. Mm-hmm. I had one turtle that some lady loved turtles, and she collected turtle figurines.
Yeah.
So her daughter goes on a trip out like towards Texas and stuff like that, and comes.
Brings her own turtle?
Oh no, a box of about 5 or 6 of them.
Oh.
And she goes, I don't want those. They put them in the garage and forgot about them. So they bring them down to our club, and I mean, you could pick these turtles up, and they're literally like this.
Mm.
So I took one of them and nursed it. It's got like a deformity because it was so malnutrition as far as its growth, but it's alive and it's kicking,
Yeah.
So this one here is from a friend of mine that's a breeder, and I got it when it was just a teeny little baby, and it's a redfoot tortoise.
Debbie is watching from West Virginia, and she put smiley faces on here. Thanks for joining. Do you know Debbie Mason?
Yeah, that's my sister-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Debbie. Thank you. And your venture into SoonMoon was not your first venture into art, right? So you've been working, sketching, illustrating
Ever since I can remember.
ever since you can remember.
Yeah.
Did you have an environment that supported that, or was it, in other words,
not really?
Not really?
I mean, my parents would always, oh, he's an artist, but they never really pushed it or anything like that. My nephew and niece pushed me a lot.
Mhm.
I have a nephew, his name is Nathan, and he was a barista at the Root too, and he's kind of like got me hooked up with that whole thing. He used to push me all the time, and my niece Becky used to say, you got to show yourself, and my kids and family, of course.
Yeah.
But I never really had the desire, or so I just didn't know how to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then once I got involved again with my friends and seeing what they were doing, and once it started, I wasn't even, to be honest with you, I wasn't even really trying, but people were asking me, and I'm going, yeah, okay, I can do that. Yeah, okay, I can do that. Yeah, and next thing you know, I got involved with like Stella's out in Willoughby, and they have an oddball show and a black and white show that I try to do every year. I love them. Both those shows they're fabulous. And and then Mary Urbis she was at Lakeland Community College.
Yeah.
She had the Skull Show, and then she had the May Show there, and I got accepted into the May Show, and it's like, what? You're going, how could that happen? It makes you feel good, because people are looking at your stuff, appreciating it. And I've sold quite a bit, and not a lot, but enough. And I'm I'm a retired graphic artist, and I again, this is not what I'm saying, because I know artists that do it for a living.
Yeah,
they need to do it for a living.
Yeah.
But I'm past that, and I do it for enjoyment again.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you did it for enjoyment. You did it because you love to do it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I love to do it again.
Yeah. What decade was it when you were first had a piece hanging in a gallery? Was it early? Was it the second half?
The first thing I had hanging in a gallery, once again, and it was actually a coffee shop, was the Root.
And how old were you? In your 40s, 30s, 20s?
I'm trying to think. Maybe 10 years ago or something like that. I mean, I haven't been doing it that long, really. 10 years ago or something, when I first got involved with, I'm terrible with dates. Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
But I can't even remember exactly when, but I got like my kids went to, when they were going through school,
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time going through. I was a troubled student, whatever. I had a learning disability and stuff like that. And they didn't handle it back then the way they do now. And I was so impressed with one teacher up at Madison Elementary School, that he always had these like brainstorm ideas and stuff like that. And he did, like, the kids had a store. They had to have a store and sell stuff. It was fake money, but they had to sell stuff. So he had me make up a comic book for them that they could sell, so I did that. And then he goes, you think you could make me an open close sign, with a neon for that? So I sketched one up and had my friend make up the neon for him and stuff like that. And it ended up getting broke, but so he was using that for his sign, that, for his store and everything like that. Then he goes, hey, you know what? I'm trying to get to school to paint a mural in the library, Would you do it? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, just figure it out and tell me, how much it would cost. And I figured, I was such a bad student in school and stuff like that. I'm just going to donate it to him,
Yeah.
So it was like about a 5 by 25 foot mural that I painted on their library wall. And he wanted it worth, books going into computers, So, and I was able to save it too, because they tore the school down. I did it in 2000. And in 2005, they tore the school down.
Yeah.
And he was freaking out about it. And I go, let me go take a look at it. Because I remember it was vinyl wallpaper. I had to get special primer for it. And I went over to where the wallpaper seams were in it, and it came right off. Came right off. So I took it all off and rolled it up, and I got it in my.
You got to put it away.
Yeah, you got to put it away. Yeah. But it had turtles and stuff coming out of it, and wildlife, and then it had like banners on it with the E = MC square and geometrical shapes and words coming out of the books and stuff like that. So it was pretty involved mural, but it was fun to do.
Yeah.
Fun to do.
That's working a whole different size, right?
Yeah.
Did you find yourself were you challenged by
No,
that size?
because I
Sign maker.
in the sign,
Yeah.
I used to paint the billboards down at the old municipal stadium, 20 by 60 Coca-Cola board, you know, Miller Lite, you know, and on stage, you know, and stuff like that. So big's not a problem, not a problem.
So was it an adjustment to work small again? I'm gonna.
No, because I was in a position. I actually became a supervisor down at the sign company I was at, and I pretty much learned, and I wasn't a master at any of them, but I learned all the stuff there is to know about sign painting. You know, from gilding to painting on plastic, reverse painting on plastic, to doing show cards, doing banners, doing billboards. So I became what was known as a neon journeyman, okay, which has nothing to do with making neon, but it's just knowing how to make the patterns for neon, how to install the neon letters, how to paint the billboards. I mean, they used to make you take thinner and smell the thinners and be able to identify what thinner was what, you know, for your tests and stuff like that, you know. Yeah. The only thing sign painter wise that I never really got involved in, I've done it a little bit, is pinstriping, because we never really had any in this. That's more of a car thing, you know. We never really had a whole lot of need for pinstriping in the sign shop that I worked in.
Yeah,
you know? But,
you your the first time that a piece went up at a gallery, you were, you know, not in the first, you know, 30 or 40 years, or probably the second half, like me. And what's the what advice do you have for folks getting in for the very first time, regardless of age? Just to say, like what?
Find some place that you feel comfortable at, because I was very uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do, and so a lot of these coffee shops like to have people bring their art in because it brings people in. Yeah, you know, and I don't know. Some of them don't charge any commission. Some of them might. I don't know. But that's a real good way to get your feet wet. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I don't know if that's good advice or not, but that's how it worked for me.
Thank you for that.
And a lot of times it spirals from that, you know. And I know. Do you know who Liz Moggins is? Liz Moggins is big. She's huge art promoter in the Cleveland area, and she and Michael Gill with Can. Yeah. She's got a thing now where she's what's it called? A Quest for Fest. Oh yeah, yeah. And she's bringing. And I went to one of the meetings. It was at Gotti's. Okay, and now she has the meetings on Sunday, and I can't do Sundays because that's when I go out with my daughter. Daughter most of the time and stuff like that. So it's really real. But if you can get involved with that, she's looks for any creative. She doesn't care if you're going to help out, but she just wants you to be there and wants ideas, you know. Yeah. And kind of like what she's doing, it sounds like it's going to be like that toilet wall used to be, where they're trying to get promote artists and you know, have shows and stuff where you can showcase your stuff and a lot of people can see it and you can sell it, and everybody kind of gets to know each other. You get to know other gallerists, and you get to know other artists, and that's what, to me, that's what it's all about. I mean, the
network, right? Getting to know folks, right, and finding an opportunity maybe to collaborate or show work together. Yeah. That's great advice. There are many people watching live. Thank you guys for joining. Let's step into your studio, kind of as we're, you know, perhaps kind of maybe rounding third. So in the very bottom of your screen is a share button. It's an arrow. If you share, we know it. And then next week, we're going to draw a winner. And the winner would get this is a framed print. And what a generous gift. And but just like you were sharing, it's about networking, right? And it's connecting with folks. Yeah. I want to talk to you maybe kind of as we're kind of closing out, I'm just going to do a spin here so you kind of get an idea of this creative space. And I'm always interested in people's creative space. And I think the reason is that I think it's important to have a designated space.
I'm also a huge collector of fossils, shells, rocks, driftwood, all that stuff. That's what you see all around here.
But
I actually made those shelves.
You made these shelves too?
Yeah, for my daughter.
All right, so you Disney fanatics. I mean, great.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning work here too. But your creative space. So do you have a particular time during the day that you work? Are you a morning, an evening, after 9?
It's probably more nighttime.
More nighttime?
Yeah. And it's funny, I can remember even being in high school when we had projects to do, and how you always wait to the last minute. And once you get involved, you lose track of time.
Yeah.
So I'll start something down here, say at 4 or 5, maybe 6 o'clock or something like that. Next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And my wife's calling me on the phone. Where are you? Oh, yeah, okay. I'm almost done. It doesn't, time just goes by.
Is there a process of kind of, does it start as you step into the studio? Does it start like, I think there's some
I'm never not thinking
always
of something to make or what I'm going to try and do next. Sometimes it stays there, sometimes it goes away. But I'm driving along in my car listening to music, and you can see I love music. I got like 600 albums.
I love the fact that you have your. I keep my vinyl too.
Yeah.
So, is there a particular artist? Is a particular genre that you listen to get yourself kind of in that zone?
I'm been hooked on for years a band called Atomic Rooster and Arthur Brown. Okay. I like Arthur Brown and I like Atomic Rooster, and they Vincent Crane, who's the organist for Atomic Rooster, came from the Crazy World of Arthur Brown. That song Fire. So yeah, I mean, I like that sound. It's kind of demonish sounding and dark sounding, but I like that organ sound, and I like that. I don't know. I just like that music. It just appeals to me, So it's always my fallback music when I'm listening, and like I can't listen to, and I'm not putting anything down.
Yeah.
But I cannot listen to pop radio whatsoever, especially Cleveland pop radio. It's sport. So I'm a huge college radio fan, and one I gotta promote this guy because he's my favorite. Yes. But Ray Carr has got one of the greatest shows on the radio, and he's a friend of mine. I actually am designing a logo for Ray.
Oh yeah, so multi-talented.
Yeah. So we become really good friends, and he plays some of the greatest music, and he'll play like an Animal song, like House of the Rising Sun, and he'll find it in Spanish or something like that, and play it on his show. He's not afraid to do that, which is great, know. And he'll play anything that's obscure, as long as it's not pop. He'll play it, and it's great. It's surf, rockabilly, all the stuff I like to listen to. So
yeah. Jimmy Committee's Ray Parr. Yeah. And thank you for turning us on to that music. For everybody who I should say maybe for the first couple folks that might connect an Atomic Rooster song right here, so people can check out the music right from this interview.
Okay.
We'll put your name in the hat as well, so you get an extra chance to win. Yeah. Randy said, "Hey, Uncle Vic, can't believe you still got the drum set."
Yeah.
So drum set?
Yep. I again, I love music, and that's my favorite instrument. So if I hear it's funny because lately a lot of songs, like I like to listen to fusion guitar rock, and a lot of it is fantastic because they got these super crazy drummers. But some of it, I guess it's because the guitarist just wants to shine, and they just got this driving beat like this, and it drives me nuts. because I like drums. I don't want to hear this. I want to hear some drumming.
Yeah.
So guys like Mitch Mitchell and Clive Bunker from Jethro Tull. I don't think he gets enough
kudos for what he's doing.
If I wanted to sound like any drummer, that's what I'd want to sound like.
Yeah.
Clive Bunker. Yeah. I just love that guy's drumming. But there's so many great drummers, man, and they have these stupid lists all the time, the top 100 drummers, and they're usually not even close.
Is that funny?
I mean, the top ones are always up there somewhere, but if I had to pick my favorite number one drummer as far as skill and everything like that, it'd be Carl Palmer.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just me. Everybody's got their own opinion. That's the problem with who's the greatest, because everybody's got somebody else that they like better than this guy likes this better than this guy.
And for good reason too. I mean, we all have preferences.
That's
right?
the same with art.
Yeah.
Everybody. I like this, but I don't like that. It's the same thing.
Does your work? I'm going to go back and we've got some comments here. I want to kind of come back to as well. I ask this question from time to time. Does a person choose the artwork, or does the artwork choose the person, the buyer? You have an opinion on that one?
I don't know if I understand the question. Yeah.
So if I go to my opinion would be that the artwork chooses the person, because when I go to a gallery, I'm not going in there with any preconceived notions, but
right.
I will walk in and there will be a piece that I'm drawn to, and I'm like, I don't know why.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
I got to take that one home.
Yeah.
And so
I actually just did this.
Yeah.
My wife's and our anniversary was about a week ago or so, 49 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
So I had to get her something,
Yeah.
So one of my friends that owns a gallery, her name's Beth, and she owns this Funktini land, and she used to have it over there in Hingetown, where they had those little huts.
Yeah.
She moved back in here to Lakewood. So I went down there, and there's another artist that I love. His name's Chuck Wimmer. Okay. And I used to hang around with his brother. So this guy, he was like one of the first artists I seen that had his own studio as a kid. I go, oh man, that's what I want to do. And same thing with my friend Mark's father, Warren. His name is Warren Clemens. He had this painting studio, and I, you go as a kid, you go up there and see it. Even in high school, it's like, oh, man, that's what I want. I want to do that. But so I went down to this Funktini land, and I said, I'm gonna buy one of.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy one of Chuck's pieces for my wife, because she loves them too. And I walked in, and as soon as I walked in, my eye went right to this piece. And I said, okay. And I started looking at this other one, and my eye went right back to it, and that's the one I ended up getting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like as soon as I walked in, boom, I knew what I was going to get.
Do the people that buy your artwork, do you think that's what they do? They kind of walk up on it and they're like, whoa, this one, whether it's, Munsters or the
I've had a lot of people walk up to like when I do my shows, like at Gotti, where I got them all on a wall like that, and they'll be looking at one piece and they're going, wow. A lot of times it don't get bought, but they wish they could buy it. They wish they could afford it. And, I can see where that kind of upsets a lot of people that are artists that need to get the money, but it kind of excites me. I like it when I see people that excited about it and taking pictures of it and stuff. That kind of excites me a bit. But yeah, I think people get drawn to certain pieces. Definitely. Yeah.
Do you have many people that, and maybe this is not even an option, that will commission a piece of artwork, come up to you and say,
yeah, I've had that, but I refuse to do that now because commission and like I've had people want logos and stuff designed for them and stuff like that. I don't want to do work anymore. Yeah, I'm retired. I want to do what I'm doing, and that's it.
And then hang it, and if somebody loves it, they'll take it home.
If it gets bought, it's a plus.
That's great. So I've got a couple of comments here. Joan says, "Red garbage can coming to mind?"
Yes, it does. That was my drum set when I was a kid.
Oh, so
my sister. Yeah, I had my parents' different garbage cans and pots and pans set up in this little room in the basement, and that's how that's where I first started playing the drums. Yeah. I
mean, there's folks that play garbage cans up on stage, and so maybe you started started a trend there. Dwayne Hudson says tomorrow night.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Got it. Tomorrow night.
Is that
Atomic Rooster?
Atomic Rooster?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe we should gather there.
Yeah.
So many different comments here. I know that it's sometimes they move so fast that I miss them. Let me just scroll back down here. Emma, she said that she believes it's the art work chooses the buyer. Angela Cody says that she was mesmerized by your shirt. The reason why I went in there because I don't know that I've seen a Rat Fink shirt before. So you.
I went to Ray Carr got me tickets to the Car and Piston show that they had last weekend, and it was amazing because I got to meet Big Daddy Ross' wife and his son, and they had a whole big thing of their shirts and stuff for sale. So I had to get me one. Yeah. So that's where I got it, and yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we so appreciate. I'm blessed at the fact that you invited us down into your studio, shared the process, shared the artwork. I think that we have seen most of it, but this is one that we missed. Close us out with this piece here.
Okay, this is another one. I did this for a show. You know, George Kokar?
Yeah.
Okay, George Kokar had a show at the Western Reserve Archives, and it was a retrospective of his work, which was amazing. But he had his own little show that they wanted him to curate off to the side called Funny Stuff, and he invited me to be in it. And this is the piece I made up for that. And Clyde Crash Cup's another cartoon from when I was a kid, and he was an inventor, okay? And he would invent things, and he would draw them out like on a blackboard, and as he's drawing them out, they'd come to life. And he had this little assistant named Leonardo that would sit on a stool, never spoke a word, but he'd pull on his lapel, and he'd whisper in his ear. The next thing you know, the thing would go to hell, you know? and that was the premises of the whole show all the time. And he would invent stuff like a flying saucer.
Yeah.
So this is a flying saucer, one of his inventions, which is a
saucer
in a cup. You know, and so this is one of my SoonMoons coming from the moon down to Earth. And this is one of my SoonMoons, and they're what is it called? It's called SoonMoon paid tribute to the universe's greatest inventor, Clyde Crash Cup. And then it says the trip to Earth would have never been possible without Crash Cup's invention of a flying saucer.
Look at those. Let's peek at the side there because the layers are really fascinating to me as well. You can certainly see your creativity, your background in sign, your illustration, your creativity, your multimedia, and we appreciate Victor you sharing it with us today. We will, share away whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the recorded session afterward. Feel free to share, and if your name is drawn the next time, then you'll get a piece of framed work of Victor's. Victor, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And we appreciate you.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys all next week.